Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I've taken myself once again down to the Copper Coast in Waterford. I just felt I needed to put a smile on my face with some photography because the struggles have been real of late. And I was here about 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, and I remember that feeling on that day. The last really good feeling I had on a photography trip. So I got up bright and early this morning. Alarm went off at 3:30 a.m. and I got myself down here the hour and 20 minutes to the Copper Coast. I was chasing the light all the way down, but you can probably see some nice light on the cliffs around me. And I got some nice stacks and sunrises back in this direction. I've already been here about 20 minutes, catching some nice light on from the sunrise, hopefully, and just breathing in the sea air. Yeah, because I just felt I needed it after some below average photography performances in the last couple of weeks. It's been hard. So, I'm here. Very windy. I'm not sure the sky cam is going to get up today. My little Potensic Atom 2 is only 250 grams. She might struggle in that wind. But there's so much to see around here. I'm at Kilfarasy Beach, and I'm going to concentrate on this one location, possibly a second, but really just slow down and focus on one or two locations today and go for some long exposure photography because that's what I like. So if I just flip you around here, you will see the headland here in the distance. I've already got some shots of that with some nice color in the sky behind. The waves are rolling in. It's low tide at the moment. I gotta keep an eye on the tide in this location because it can come in pretty sharpish behind me here. So I need to get back around these rocks and out back around. The car is off down there. There's some lovely light on the headland down there with a sea arch I want to photograph. And I got some cool wave action going on out here with these few pointy stacks. Yeah, so that's it. This is my location for a couple of hours today. I'm going to slow down and enjoy the photography process, enjoy long exposure. I love long exposure photography. Take my time, work with filters, work with the live ND on the camera, and see what I can get today. Some lovely wave action breaking in over some of the stacks out here, just out beyond me at the moment. So let's get at it. Join me for the ride along the Copper Coast here at Kilfarasy Beach in Waterford. Let's go. So the first couple of shots are going to be into the sunrise as the sun starts to get above the cliffs in the distance. And I want to try and work on composition. But if I flip you around here, you can see here's the headland and a nice color in the sky behind. But I'm struggling with a composition here. But what I've done is I've punched in. And if you can see that composition there where I punched in on the headland at the end with this rock in the foreground. And I'm trying to capture some of the waves breaking over that foreground rock with the headland in the background. Again, I'm going to work with aspect ratio, try 16 by 9s and some 4 by 3s to see what we can get. We're going to focus on a few shots here, work on some composition, take my time with the light, keep an eye on this tide, guys, because it's going to start coming in around me. I'm perched on a rock here. Yeah, and if any of these first shots worked out here at Kilfarasy Beach, it's a gale blowing, but I love it. Well, here they are. So I'm running out of time in this first location because I can start to see the actual tide starting to come in and around. I have to be very aware of that. But if I flip you around, you will see in the distance that the sun from the left is starting to hit these stacks. And if I show you here on screen, you can see there's nice light coming in and hitting those stacks from the left-hand side. So I'm going to try and get a few compositions of these stacks in the distance, which are just out there with the light starting to hit. And then I have to get out of here and move on. Yeah, so if any of these shots worked out with the sun starting to hit those sea stacks, here they are. Let's get out of here. I've come back around now to the safety of the main beach. I'm going to try a few more up close and personal long exposure shots, kind of like Chris Bateson style. So let's flip you around and I'll show you what I'm thinking of. You can probably see these two stones, these two rocks here, and see how the light is catching them and the water is coming in and swirling around. So I'm going to try and isolate those rocks, and I'm hoping you can see it there on screen. Oh, as the waves come in, now I know why Chris Bateson gets his feet wet the whole time. Sugar. Anyway, the object is to try and isolate those two rocks, have my framing as a 1x1 just below the horizon, so all I'm seeing hopefully are the two rocks and the waves washing in around them with somewhere around a 15-20 second long exposure time at 5.6 IS200. Yeah, so let's give this a go and see what we can come up with. And the beauty of these long exposure shots is you get to admire the beauty of your surroundings. Absolutely stunning. You know, a 30-second long exposure on the OM system, OM1MKII, takes about a minute and a half. You press the shutter, you just lift your head up and you look around and take it in. And really, that's what it's all about. And that's what makes it worth it. Getting up at 3:30 this morning, this entire location and beach to myself. What more could you want? Unbelievable. So the tide is really coming in now, but you know, I'm back at the safety of the main beach. I can just keep receding. But I've moved myself around a little bit from looking in at those two rocks head on to coming in from the side with that headland and the sea arch in the background. I'll flip you around and then you can see, whoa, the water rushing. I'm standing up on a rock here for refuge, and I'm going to have to get out of here pretty soon. But there's the two rocks. There's the headland in the background. I'm doing anywhere between a 20-second and a 1-minute exposure here at 5.6, so the headland will be blurred, but not to worry. A few more shots of these two rocks. Whoa! I gotta get out of here. And if any of them worked out, here they are. So the tide is well on its way in now here at Kilfarasy, and I'm just making my way back along the beach. I've been out for about 2 hours, and I just realized I exhausted one entire battery on my OM1MKII. I don't think I've ever done that before. I must have just kind of got in a zone and was just happy to be here and happy to shoot. And like that's just shooting individual shots, not many brackets in there. Yeah, one whole battery. So you can see behind me, I'm leaving that location I was in with all those sea stacks, and the waves are crashing in around all those stacks now. I might come back here in a little while. Again, I'm staying at this beach. I like it. I like it here. There's more action on the opposite end of the beach. More stacks, smaller, mind you, but again, I will indulge myself in some long exposure photography. Do you know, I think I've found the niche in photography that I really love is long exposure. I love shooting waterfalls. I love shooting these seascapes. Time just flies when I'm doing it. Anyway, right now, back to the car, take a break, sit out on the beach, have a cup of tea and a little bit bite to eat, and then I'll come back out again and we'll do some more down the other end of the beach. So I've had a little break and I've just come down back onto the beach, and I've come to the west end. So I originally was up at the east end, closest to Tramore. Now I'm down the west end. Let's call it the Dungarvan end. And I'm not seeing an awful lot at this end, to be honest. I'd say there's an awful lot more. Oh my God, look at those waves. I just missed a cracker of a shot. Oh, do that again. Holy moly. My good God, the waves that have just come in up here are just unbelievable. But back to what I was saying. There's a sea arch in the distance, slightly blocked out by a very broad sea stack, but the waves are coming in and crashing off all the individual little smaller stacks that are in the bay. I'd say there's a lot more interesting shots when the tide is fully out here and further west. But I see one shot here, and if I flip you around, and that's my camera position there. But looking down in this direction, I'm kind of punched in a little bit, and I've got this headland, and then I've got this headland here which has the arch in it. But back closer to us, there's a lot of rocks, a lot of smaller sea stacks that the waves are crashing over. So as the tide continues to come in, they're really breaking over those rocks. So I'm going to try again a few long exposures with that headland with the arch in the background. Spend a little bit of time here, take it in, slow down. Try everything from a 1 second right through to a 60-second exposure. But I'm using the 12 to 100. The 12 to 100 mil on the OM1MKII. If you ever get yourself an OM system camera, get this lens. This lens is the most versatile lens on the planet, the most versatile lens I have ever used. I've got an ND64 and a polarizer on the front, and I'll be using the live ND in conjunction with those physical filters. Yeah, so I'll take these few shots, spend a little bit of time here, and if any of them worked out, guys, here they are. Wow. A seal just popped his head up. And there he is again. Temperatures are up, jackets open, hats off. Beautiful, beautiful day here on the Waterford coast, the Copper Coast. I'm just seeing my last shot because I'm going to take a last shot as part of this video, and then I'm just going to spend an hour by myself with no video, just me and my camera shooting the breeze effectively. But if I flip you around, you can see, actually there's my camera. But I'm doing a 60-second exposure, long exposure, as the waves come in, a very minimalistic shot. I'll do a 16:9, but I might also do a 1:1 square. I'm starting to like 1:1s. They're growing on me. But this will be very minimalistic. Long exposure, focusing on the island in the background and the sea in the foreground. Not much contrast color-wise. This could end up being black and white, actually. But I find it hard to see these shots. And I only tend to see them when I actually look through the viewfinder. Anyone else have that problem? I can look out all day with my naked eye and go, yeah, that's cutesy, that's gorgeous. But until I actually put the viewfinder up and put a border around it, that's the only time I really see the shot. Odd really, but that's just me. But I'm going to spend a little time waiting on the right waves. The tide is still coming in. Focusing on this island and the breaking waves coming towards me at different shutter speeds. If any of these worked out, be they black and white, be they color, I don't know yet. Here they are. So this is where I'll end this video at Kilfarasy Beach. What a great morning I've had. Really enjoyed it. Even got a maritime visitor in that seal, which was nice to see. For the whole couple of hours I've been here, I think I've been here 4 hours. I saw 2 people and 2 dogs. Pretty much had the place to myself. It's been amazing. I've so enjoyed this couple of hours because, you know, I just feel that long exposure, seascapes, and that kind of landscape photography is really what floats my boat. But beggars can't be choosers. I don't live near the sea. But I've had such a great morning. If you've stumbled across this video and if you've liked the content, please feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And while you're there, and if you've got this far, a thumbs up would also be appreciated, as it really helps the channel. So all that's left for me to say here on the wonderful Copper Coast in Waterford is slán Latin goodbye, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm off to scout a few other locations now because I'll definitely be back. Bye bye, see you next time.